the movement I'm going to talk about tonight is the springboard for the demoralization campaign that causes men to not believe that they were created right. You got what I'm saying? Now, that's why I told y'all when they legalize, or better yet, normalize homosexuality, every other deviant behavior is going to flood through the door. What you see happening in the world is based on the boundaries of the church allowing the boundaries to be moved. Come on, talk back to me. What you see going on in the church is based on the church allowing the boundaries. Boundaries means what was the standard in the last generation. Talk back to me. What was the standard in the last generation? Meaning, in the last generation, there was a standard that men don't wear dresses. Are y'all there or not there? I was going to put it up there, but I don't feel like hooking all this up. I was going to show y'all Kirk Franklin in a dress, because I want you to see the standard that even though we have preachers and singers coming out to be gay, the church promotes it as if there was no standard at all. So this movement bypassed the order of the home, or transcended the order of the home, whereby you have this, because they transcended the order of the home, the people that was out of order in the house came to church. And when they came to church out of order in the house, they brought the disorder or dysfunction or chaos to church. And instead of preachers holding the standard or the boundary line, saying this is the way of the Lord, walk in it, they capitulated to people who was out of order. Because Jezebel pays. Y'all hear what I said? The Bible says that Jezebel paid 850 false prophets to do her bidding, which is why they wouldn't preach against those out of order. Because this was the true root of the gospel of prosperity. The true root of the gospel of prosperity was Jezebel will buy you. And y'all want this. And most of the preachers understood, talk back to me, that the dysfunction of the home means more money in the church. Because when the female is in her home with her man, there's a certain standard and boundary the man puts down that you will not emotionalize him out of his money. But when the female is uncovered and don't have the boundary of the man, then you can promise her seasons and harvests and breakthroughs, and she will peel. Y'all don't want this. See, this is because I told you, in order what we see in the world, we had to see a capitulation in the church or a compromise. Say compromise. So what we have now is we have just about all of our preachers have been bought. Now, Jezebel's prophets that went against Elijah, they were not telling the people to go sin. What they did is what most of our preachers do. They were silent about righteousness. Because I don't have to tell you to sin as long as I don't tell you to live right. So what they actually did was they were silent about the holiness and righteousness of, oh, that's a good word. They were silent. Now, some of us been in church a long time. We remember when the standard, see, every service, some of y'all Baptist people don't know this, but every service, you got a sermon about holiness. Now, what crept, you got to have been in church a while to understand what I'm telling you. What crept in was a war over Paul teaching women should be silent. That's where the war came from. I said it. That was war. Some of y'all ain't been in here long enough. You've been in church long enough. You know what I'm talking about. My wife was in church. You know, that was a war. And so what happened was we had Jezebel's prophets starting to call women out from under the shepherd who was holding the boundary out into the conference, a woman's conference, and began to loose her. Now, for females, you cannot be vague in what you say, because women have a tendency to draw a conclusion. Even you, brother, know now. You can say something that you didn't say, and she think you said something else. She heard something you didn't say. Now, these brothers that was loosing did not tell them what they were loosed from. So they left it up to her own understanding, and what she heard was authority. Not loose from your oppression and your crack using and your, come on. You're loose from the man. Y'all don't want this. Now that spirit coincided with the spirit of the world, which is feminism. So in order to, y'all want this or not? Y'all want? No, I don't think y'all want this. Because when they loose, if you go back, some of y'all been in the church long enough, go back to the 90s. 90s when this loosing happened. What was traditionally boundaries for ministry, what was traditionally men patriarchal roles, the boundary was moved to make room, say amen, for those that were loosed. So as in the 90s, you start seeing female apostles. Everybody became a prophetess. That's happened in the 90s. And then they exalted a sister that could preach, but didn't have no character. And as soon as she got to the pinnacle of ministry, she did a Pied Piper and led the females away from male leadership. And that's what the women are today. Because y'all think only men are pimps. You ain't been pimped till you've been pimped by a woman. Y'all heard what I said. So now, because the foundation to me, the support, which is the helpmeet of the church, is over here against or away from the family. The family, the structure that God ordained, the family, women are over here doing it for themselves. So that goes along with the spirit of the world, which is feminism. So now the church is saying the same thing as the world.